Hi everyone, my name is Matt Neilson from Simpson Associates, and today I'm going to be walking us through this finance report. So this report lets us analyse profit, income, and expenditure. Those are our three main KPIs, as we can see from these three cards up at the top. So within these cards, we can see the absolute value for each of our KPIs. So 201,000 for profit, 1.3 million for income, and 1.1 million for expenditure. And then we have comparisons to budget and also a little spark line by month. So we can see, March in our financial year, we get a profit of £50,000. And we've got a little bit of conditional formatting on these arrows as well. A little orange or green to show us whether it was a positive thing or a negative thing. Now, further down the page, we have further analysis by either cost center or category. And we can actually hover over each of these cost centers to see a tooltip that shows us a bit more information. So if I hover over the DE cost center, then I can see that was £84,000. And I can also see comparisons to budget for both income and expenditure. If I hover over the services category, then I see a breakdown by cost center for that particular category. And if we go right to the bottom of the page, what we have is some narrative. So just for example, over here, we've got saying DE has the highest profit and the percent higher it was than the lowest one, in this case GH, which had actually made a loss of £25,000. And the thing that's so good about this narrative is that it wasn't actually written by a person. This narrative was automatically generated by Power BI. And because it's automatically generated, it is dynamic based on what the user selects on the screen. So for example, if I select services from my category donut chart up here, we can see the narrative has now updated for this new filter that the user has applied. And now instead of having DE having the highest profit, we can see instead that within services, the cost center CD had the highest profit, and FG had a loss of 21,000. So I think that's just a really neat bit of functionality. We don't have to spend ages writing narrative every time a report is made, on a monthly basis or something, and have to worry about whether or not it's going to be filtered or whether it's still true if the user filters a report. We can get Power BI to actually create narrative for us that is completely dynamic based on user selections. If I go to the next page now, we have a page dedicated to what if analysis. So we've kind of got the same sort of cards on the left hand side as we had on the top of the previous page, where we can see profit, income, and expenditure for a particular financial year. And then the right hand side of the page shows us a nice line chart showing daily profit, income, or expenditure. But you'll notice a little grey section on the end of our line charts, and that is actually a forecast. Now, that's not a specific measure that we've had to create. We haven't done any DAX code to create that. That forecast is automatically generated by Power BI. And we can see that there we've got the forecast, and it's given us also an upper and lower bound. And how we want users to interact with this screen is through these sliders on the left-hand side. So over here, we can see we've got 10% and 5% on income and expenditure. And then with these little sliders, we can adjust sort of the multiplier to income and expenditure. So we can say in one particular financial year, income is going to increase by 15%. And if we think income is going to increase by 15%, then what kind of expenditure can we afford while maintaining a healthy profit? So if I leave my income at 15% and then keep on increasing expenditure, we're still above budget at 15% increase to expenditure. But at 20% increase to expenditure, that's when we're starting to make a loss. So by playing around with these different sliders, applying different sort of multipliers to our values, we can see how that's going to impact our profit. And you can see it also impacts the forecast that Power BI generates. So this forecast is generated dynamically as well. And if you select different categories, if you select different multipliers for income and expenditure, our forecast responds to those changes. And on the final page, what we have is a sort of more traditional profit and loss page. So again, we've got the same cars to give a little bit of consistency with the total profit, income, expenditure, and comparisons to budget. But then we've got a nice sort of traditional profit and loss table with income and expenditure categories. And then we've got income and expenditure values and their variances to budget. And then what we can do is a user can select a particular category. And then at the bottom, we have a table with individual transactions. So if we spot that, I don't know, the bursary income was, 19% below budget, we can look at the individual transactions, maybe work out why that was. So that's our financial analysis report. I hope you found it interesting. Thanks for watching.